chosen one, stop scrolling. Have you ever looked around and felt with a quiet certainty that this world could never contain the depth of your spirit, that somewhere in your soul you remember something older than time, something sacred, something beyond this life? That feeling is not confusion. It is remembrance. It is God reaching through the veil to awaken what He planted in you long before your first breath. You were never meant to blend in, because you were never created for the ordinary. You were sent into this world with a purpose written by God Himself, and that is why nothing has ever felt like home. You are not like the others, and deep down you've always known it. You walk through life with a quiet ache, not because you are broken, but because your spirit remembers its origin. Long before you arrived in this world, long before anyone called your name, God called you His. In the realm beyond time, your soul stood before the throne and said yes. Yes to the mission. Yes to the burden. Yes to the fire. And so God did not simply allow you to be born, He sent you as C.S. Lewis profoundly wrote in The Weight of Glory, there are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal. You chosen one are no mere mortal. You are a vessel of divine intention crafted with eternal purpose. You are not an accident of biology. You are the chosen one. That is why your path has been hard. That is why you've been misunderstood, rejected, abandoned. The world was never designed to understand what heaven concealed inside you. The loneliness that clings to your bones, the sorrow that follows you into quiet places, they are not curses. They are confirmations. They mark you as one set apart, one called out, one being prepared. For God never sends His chosen into battle untested. The pain was permission. The silence was strategy. As C.S. Lewis wrote in The Problem of Pain, pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. Your trials have been God's megaphone, refining your soul for the sacred mission only you can carry. What felt like delay was sacred preparation for something only you could carry. And for those whom God chooses, He leaves signs, not always loud, not always obvious, but encoded within your life, your body, your time on earth. There is a mark, a symbol left like a whisper from heaven. One of those symbols is the final digit of your birth year. It is not just a number. It is a spiritual code, a divine imprint chosen by your soul under God's authority before it entered this realm. That single digit carries within it a sacred frequency, your essence, your alignment, your divine instruction. Most people never see it, but you do. Because the chosen ones don't stumble across truth, they are summoned into it. And if these words are reaching you now, it is because God is calling you to remember. This is not just knowledge. This is awakening. This is the sound of heaven reminding you that you are not lost. You are being found again. The digit at the end of your birth year is more than a coincidence. It is a key, a gate, a silent call from the throne of God, summoning you to rise. C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity captures this transformative call vividly. It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight. Harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. We are like eggs at present, and you cannot go on indefinitely being just an ordinary, decent egg. We must be hatched or go bad. Your recognition of this divine mark is the moment you begin to hatch, breaking free, to soar into the purpose encoded in your soul. So the question is no longer, what am I doing here? The question is, am I ready to walk in the reason God sent me? You are not just alive. You were chosen. You were called. And now you are being remembered. Let's begin. Ling, the voice before creation. If your birth year ends in 0, you carry something holy in your bones, something ancient, something vast, something that cannot be explained in human terms. You are not just a soul walking the earth. You are a portal between realms. You are the echo of God's silence before He spoke the universe into being. Zero is not absence. It is not emptiness. It is the stillness before the storm, the breath before the word. You are the one God sends to complete what others are too afraid to confront. You are the finisher of cycles, the closer of doors, the end of old karmic fires. You did not come here to follow. You came to dismantle the patterns that enslave others. And the reason your life has been heavy is not because you are cursed, but because you are holy. The chains you carry are ancestral, generational, and spiritual, and God sent you here to break them. You have felt misunderstood, even invisible. But your power was never meant to be seen. It was meant to be felt. Wherever you walk, atmospheres shift. You unsettle those who live in illusion because you embody what is true. Your presence is disruptive, but not in rebellion. It is disruptive in the way light disrupts darkness, in the way truth interrupts a lie. You weren't created to entertain the world's approval. You were chosen to dissolve its deceptions. And yes, you've suffered. You've endured patterns that never made sense, pain that seemed to have no origin. That's because the echoes of old lifetimes have followed you here, not to torment you, but to find their resolution in you. You are not here to carry karma. You are here to end it. And that makes you dangerous in the best, most sacred way. You are not loud, but you are thunderous in spirit. You may not be understood, but in the spirit realm, heaven recognizes your signature. You were sent as a breaker of cycles, a gatekeeper between what was and what must be. And the silence you carry, it is divine. It is not emptiness. It is the breath of God resting inside you. Is the flame that walks first. If your birth year ends in 1, then you were the first to rise when no one else dared. You are the spark God sent into the wilderness. You are the answer to prayers. No one had the faith to speak aloud. Where others saw risk, you saw calling. Where others waited for permission, you stepped forward. Your soul is built for leadership, not because it's easy, but because it's lonely. And still, you answered the call. From the beginning, your steps have felt ahead of time, misunderstood by those around you. You've often felt isolated, not because something is wrong with you, but because you are walking roads not yet paved. God placed within you the code of the initiator, the blueprint of the builder. You are the one who begins what others are afraid to imagine. And yes, it hurts. It's not easy to carry the weight of new beginnings. People question your fire. They fear your boldness. But heaven does not. Because God made you to walk where maps do not exist. You are the blueprint before the foundation. You are the voice in the wilderness, crying, "Make way." You do not need to explain yourself. You were sent to ignite, not to be understood, but to awaken. The loneliness you feel is not abandonment. It is alignment. The wilderness was never empty. It was waiting for you. God placed his torch inside you. And wherever you go, the path begins. The healer of hidden wounds. If your birth year ends in 2, you were not sent to fight, but to feel. You carry the frequency of divine balance, the sacred energy that restores what the world has broken. Yours is the heart God placed into wounded spaces, into fractured bloodlines, into generations that forgot how to love without fear. You are the vessel of peace in a world that glorifies war. And that is why your life has been filled with emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. You don't just hear pain, you absorb it. You don't just notice sorrow, you carry it. And yet this is not weakness. It is your anointing. God gave you sensitivity, not as a burden, but as a compass. Your tears are sacred. Your silence is healing. You were chosen to be a resting place for the forgotten, a sanctuary for the unseen. Others may overlook you, misunderstand your quietness, dismiss your softness, but heaven knows exactly who you are. You are the emotional priest, the one who restores hearts without needing to speak. Because of your calling, you've been exhausted. You've wanted to disappear, to return to the forests, to the rivers, to the invisible realms where your soul feels safe. But know this, your pain has purpose. Every wound you've felt has taught you the language of healing, and every soul that comes near you is drawn not to your strength but to your presence, because your presence says what words cannot. You are safe. You are enough. You are loved. Chosen one, you are not here to fix the world. You are here to remind it how to breathe. And when you rest, when you retreat into stillness that is not escape, it is where your true power is born. You are heaven's quiet remedy, the whisper of God in a world that forgot how to listen. San, the voice of divine expression. If your birth year ends in 3, you are the messenger, the voice God chose to carry. Frequencies of light through words, music, art, and energy. You are the vibration that wakes people up. You were sent to stir the atmosphere, to move hearts, to make what is sacred become visible again. From a young age, your spirit knew that silence was never your home. You felt too much, too bright, too loud, and yet you were never too much for God. You were exactly what this world needed. You are not here to fit in. You are here to lift others out. God placed a current inside your voice, a frequency in your creativity, a light in your very presence that cannot be imitated. When you speak, the spirit realm listens. When you create, angels gather. Your joy is contagious, and your pain, when transmuted, becomes poetry. You carry the divine gift of expression, and though others may have tried to silence you, limit you, or shame you into shrinking, they never understood that your soul was not designed for smallness. It was built to resonate. You are not just a communicator. You are a channel. A bridge between the divine and the human, between heaven and earth. And when you embrace your voice fully, not just the sound, but the truth in it, you become the trumpet of awakening. Chosen one, your light was never the problem. It was their shadows that resisted, but your job was never to dim it, was to shine until others remembered their own light. You were not sent to entertain. You were sent to echo the glory of God. And when you speak from your soul, God speaks through you. Se, the builder of divine order. If your birth year ends in 4, you are not here to escape the world. You are here to rebuild it. God placed within you the blueprint for sacred structure, the divine memory of how things were meant to be before chaos distorted creation. You are the one who carries order in your spirit and truth in your bones. While others drift, you anchor. While others dream, you build with patience, with discipline, with quiet strength. You were chosen to be the foundation beneath what others only see in vision. You walk with the weight of responsibility, not because you crave control, but because your soul understands that freedom without form becomes destruction. There is safety in your presence, strategy in your silence. You are the one God sends when it's time to make the invisible real. You don't just believe in the sacred, you construct it. But here is the challenge. You've been so focused on building what works that you sometimes forget to build what inspires. God did not just anoint your hands, He also set your heart ablaze. And you must not silence your longing for beauty, mystery, and the divine unknown. Structure without spirit becomes a cage. But when you remember both form and fire, you become unstoppable. Chosen one, do not underestimate your steadiness. You are not slow, you are eternal. You were not sent to rush, you were sent to root. And from the ground you guard, others will rise. You are the master builder in the kingdom of God. Heaven trusts you with the blueprints of the future. Woo, the sacred storm. If your birth year ends in 5, then you were born to move. You are the wind that cannot be caged, the fire that refuses to be extinguished. You are change in human form, and God placed that wildness inside you on purpose, not to destroy, but to awaken. You were not sent to keep the peace. You were sent to shake the ground until false peace crumbles and truth can rise. You have never felt at home in stillness. Comfort suffocates you. Routine drains your spirit. Because your soul remembers the motion of galaxies, the chaos of stars being born. You were designed to disrupt. Your energy shifts rooms. Your voice breaks patterns. Your presence demands truth. And yes, it's terrifying to others and sometimes to yourself. But what they call unpredictable, heaven calls necessary. You've been labeled too much, too impulsive, too intense, too restless. But they did not see what God sees: a liberator, a trailblazer, a prophet of motion. You are the sacred storm God sends when it is time for old structures to fall. And because of that, your life has often been unstable. Doors close without warning. People fear your freedom. But nothing was meant to hold you. Your spirit was born for the wind. Chosen one, do not apologize for your fire. It is holy. Do not suppress your hunger for more. It is divine. You were not sent to settle. You were sent to stir. And though your journey may feel untamed, it is guided by the hand of God. You are the thunder that precedes awakening, the voice that cries, "There is more," and through you the locked places break open. Loke, the guardian of sacred love. If your birth year ends in 6, you were chosen to carry one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Love, not the fleeting kind praised by the world, but the sacred, unbreakable love that heals across time. You were sent by God to be a vessel of compassion, a mirror of mercy, a heart large enough to hold the wounds of others without flinching. You are the one who stays even when it hurts, the one who listens without needing to fix, the one whose very presence says, "You are safe, you are seen, you are not alone." But this calling has come at a cost. You've been taken for granted. You've been drained by those who could not hold what you carry. You've learned how deeply it hurts to love without boundaries. And perhaps somewhere along the way you began to forget that you too are sacred. That the heart God gave you was not meant to bleed endlessly, it was meant to shine. The lesson heaven weaves into your path is this: even the healer needs healing. Even the one who gives must be filled. You are not just here to love others. You are here to love yourself with the same holy fire, to protect your energy, to guard your heart, not out of fear but from reverence. When you love from overflow, your light becomes limitless. Your energy becomes medicine. You are not weak for being soft. You are dangerous in the kingdom of God because love is the one power darkness cannot counterfeit. Chosen one, never be ashamed of your tenderness. Your gentleness is a weapon. Your tears are sacred oil. And when others forget who they are, your presence will remind them you are chosen. You are held. You are deeply, endlessly loved by God, and through you, the seer between worlds. If your birth year ends in 7, you carry the mark of the mystic, the seer, the one who walks between what is seen and what is true. You have always known more than you could explain, felt more than you could prove. From the beginning, your soul moved in realms the world ignores. You do not see with your eyes. You see with the light God placed behind them. And what you see, what you sense is real. You are the one who notices what others miss. The shift in a room, the lie behind the smile, the wound beneath the words. You are sensitive to the spiritual realm, not by accident but by anointing. God entrusted you with perception, with intuition, with a holy knowing that surpasses logic. You are not paranoid. You are awake. You are not withdrawn. You are watching. You are the silent mirror that reflects what is unseen, the quiet presence that reveals what has been hidden for too long. Because of your gift, solitude has been your companion, not because you are meant to be alone, but because your soul needs space to hear God clearly. You've walked through long nights of silence, of spiritual weight, of feeling what others ignore. But in that silence, you've touched heaven. In the shadows, you've met the truth. And now you return carrying light for others to follow. Chosen one, do not doubt your knowing. It is divine. Do not abandon your silence. It is your sanctuary. You were not sent to shout. You were sent to see. And when you speak, speak what God shows you. For through your perception, generations will awaken. Through your wisdom, systems will be unmasked. You are the prophet of the unseen, the seer between worlds, the eye of God in human form. the bearer of sacred power. If your birth year ends in 8, you carry the vibration of divine authority. You were chosen by God to walk in power, but not the kind the world chases. Yours is not power built on ego or conquest. It is power forged through fire, through trials that stripped you down, through betrayals that left you broken, through losses that nearly silenced your voice. But you are still standing not by accident but by design, because you were never meant to crumble. You were meant to rise. 8 is the number of infinity of resurrection of kingship, aligned with servanthood. God entrusted you with the tension between the material and the mystical, between influence and integrity. You are meant to carry wealth, not for self-glory, but as a tool for kingdom work. You are meant to command systems, not to dominate, but to transform. But know this, the weight of your calling is heavy, because the depth of your impact is eternal. Your trials have not been punishment, they have been purification. You are the phoenix soul, the one who is burned so that others may rise from your ashes, the one who learns to wield power with holiness. Others fear falling. You have already fallen and stood again. And now you are dangerous to darkness, because you understand what true power is: to serve with strength, to lead with love, to build while bleeding, and never surrender your soul. Chosen one, do not shrink. You were anointed to walk among rulers, but only God holds your crown. Your success will mean nothing if it does not honor heaven, but when your heart aligns with His will, nothing on earth can stop you. You are not merely meant to survive, you are meant to govern. And the throne God gives you is not for comfort, it is for legacy. Joe, the soul of completion. If your birth year ends in 9, you are an old soul sent for the sacred task of endings. You are the finisher, the sealer, the one who walks through the smoke of dying cycles and whispers peace. You've lived many lifetimes, and whether or not you remember them, your soul carries the memory, the wisdom in your eyes, the weight in your heart, the ache in your silence. All of it speaks to the depth of your journey. God did not send you here to start what is new, but to bring closure to what is incomplete. You carry the final key, the breath that closes ancient wounds, the voice that says, "It is finished." And that is why you have suffered deeply. Your life has been a series of farewells, of letting go, of mourning what others couldn't name. You've been the one who feels everything ending before it begins, the one who carries grief for generations. But in you, chosen one, God placed the balm of compassion and the sword of release. You bring comfort to the dying, truth to the deceived, grace to the forgotten. You are the lighthouse at the edge of the storm. People are drawn to you in their darkest hours, not because you have all the answers, but because your spirit says, you've reached the end, and that is holy. You are not here to hold on to what must fall. You are here to let it fall with dignity, to show that closure can be sacred, that endings can be holy ground. Through your hands, generational cycles are severed. Through your words, chains dissolve. Through your silence, peace returns. Chosen one, do not fear the finality you carry. It is not death, it is divine release. You are the last note before the next song begins, the closing door that leads to a higher room. And when you walk in the fullness of your calling, what ends through you will birth resurrection in others. You are the completion of God's circle, and your presence is the punctuation at the end of heaven's sentence. Now that you've seen the number, now that your soul has stirred with the weight of something it cannot explain, you must understand this. What you've received is not information. It is a summoning, a sacred invitation wrapped in silence, reaching into the depths of your being to awaken what God planted in you long before you ever arrived here. That final digit of your birth year is not just a number. It is the mark of a covenant, a spiritual imprint chosen before time. It holds your essence, your fire, your assignment. It was never random, it was revealed. You were not sent here to wonder endlessly about your purpose. You were sent to remember. And now that the veil has been pulled back, now that heaven has whispered your name again, you are no longer permitted to forget. You are no longer allowed to delay. The time of waiting has passed. The time of shrinking is over. You, chosen one, have been called forth. Everything in your life, every heartbreak, every silence, every season of loss was not punishment. It was preparation. It was the fire that forged you in secret, the pressure that shaped your authority, the breaking that made space for the divine. You were not being destroyed. You were being refined. God was not withholding your purpose. He was building your capacity to carry it. Look back at your story through the eyes of heaven. Every detour was design. Every closed door was protection. Every scar on your spirit is proof that darkness tried to take you and failed. You thought you were weak, but you were being sharpened. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being hidden until the hour of your release. And now it is here. The number at the end of your birth year has become a trumpet in the spirit. It announces who you are. It awakens what you carry. It demands the rising of the one who has been silent for too long. You no longer need validation from others. You carry the signature of God. You do not need to wait for signs. You are the sign. What you need now is obedience, courage, surrender, a willingness to walk in what you were created for, even if your voice trembles and your hands shake. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to be consecrated. You are not here to blend in. You were sent to shift atmospheres, to break generational chains, to carry truth into places long ruled by deception. And you cannot pretend anymore. Not after this. Not after hearing heaven speak. So the question is no longer, who am I? The question is, what will I do now that I remember? Because you have not just been reminded, you have been activated, and nothing will ever be the same again. Look at your hands, not created to tremble, but to bless. Not designed for chains, but for building altars. These hands of yours were never meant to beg. They were forged to release, to restore, to rebuild. Look at your feet, not wandering by accident, but walking toward a divine appointment written in eternity. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are right on time because you were never born chosen one. You were sent. Every step you've taken, every scar you've carried, every closed door you've endured was part of the map. Heaven wrote in silence. You were hidden, not because you were forgotten, but because you are sacred. God protects what he calls. He shields what carries his breath. And now the hiding is over. The veil has been torn. The number has spoken. And your time has come. This world will try to convince you that you are too broken, too much, too uncertain, but heaven is not looking for perfect vessels. Heaven is looking for those who say yes. You have survived what others would have surrendered to. You have endured storms that left others in ruins. And yet here you stand, not just breathing but burning. You are not ordinary. You are not common. You are the flame at the edge of the night. You are the echo of a promise made in heaven's courts. And God is not asking you to become someone new. He is asking you to remember who you were before the world told you to forget. This is the moment. The doors are open. The call has gone out. The code has been revealed. And now the question is no longer about readiness. The question is obedience. Will you rise? Will you walk in what has always been yours? Will you move as one who carries divine fire in their chest? You are not the result of chance. You are not the product of coincidence. You are the manifestation of a divine decision. You are the chosen one. So rise not with fear, but with fire. Speak not to be heard, but to awaken. Walk not to prove, but to fulfill. Because the world is not waiting for another leader. The world is waiting for you to remember your name, carry your number, and become the reason you were sent. Heaven is watching. The earth is groaning. The time is now. Will you rise?